That's probably good. If somebody gets desperate.
Does everyone have a ballot? If you don't have a ballot, please raise your hand. We do have volunteers going around. Please raise your hand if you need a ballot card. We do have volunteers. Great. If you need any ballots? People, have you run out of ballots? Oh, okay. Check the mic, see if you've got them. Let's start. Over to you. Ready? Yep.
Okay, I think we're going to get started, everybody. So welcome to the second version of Next Generation Internet Companies. I'd like to start with a reminder to everybody, friendly reminder, put your phones on off or vibrate. And I think you guys know how this works. We're going to have presentations from 5 startups, and at the end, we would like you to all vote for your most likely to succeed company, and then we'll collect the ballots at the end of the session. I'd like to welcome the esteemed panel of judges here. Let me introduce the panel. Actually, I'll have them introduce themselves. Howard Hartenbaum, Stephanie Palmieri, and Jake Flomenberg. Howard, why don't you start, please?
Hi, Howard Hartenbaum. I'm at August Capital, $650 million early stage fund on Sand Hill. What we're generally looking for is first money in. Personally, I like kind of unusual companies. So if you've got a lot of everyday tagline words in your presentation, it's probably a crowded space and not that interesting. But if you've got something that's really different that doesn't really fit into a marketplace, that tends to be more interesting to me.
Stephanie Palmieri. I'm with Softtech VC. We are a $55 million seed fund. It's a little smaller than August. And we focus on consumer, web, and mobile. 3 areas of interest for us right now are next generation commerce, vertical SaaS, and mobile-enabled services.
Hi, and I'm Jake Flomenberg with Excel Partners. We're a global venture capital firm focused on making technology investments, everything from enterprise software to consumer-facing apps, and we have a couple of different funds.
Great. Well, thank you all. I forgot to introduce myself in my haste. Sorry. Debbie Brackeen. I'm with Citi Ventures. I'm a managing director and head of new business incubation there, and we're based in downtown Palo Alto. We're the corporate venture arm for Citibank, or Citigroup. So without further ado, let's start. I'd like to introduce our first our startup presenter, Chris Schmidt, who will be presenting Pixt. And my version of Pixt is it builds personal content sharing walls that are sort of like Pinterest. That was what I got. So take it away.
Fantastic.
6 minutes.
All right. Forward is the star. Backwards. Take it this is the clicker.
I am not sure.
Okay, well, we'll find out as we go along. So hi, my name is Chris Schmidt. I'm the CEO of Pixt. And at Pixt, we've built a platform that physicalizes your content. So your photos, videos, text from your services, pulled into a physicalized wall. Now, why have we done this? Because the way that you can interact with your content on the places where it's been warehoused, Facebook, Flickr, Picasa, YouTube, it's grid-based, and it's really not that intuitive. And people want to do stuff with their content. They want to be able to sort, save, and share, regardless of which service their content has ended up on. They want to be able to collaborate with their friends' content in a fluid way. So Pixt has built a platform that'll pull it all in to one wall that's shareable everywhere, embeddable everywhere, and let's have a look. So Pixt is a infinite scrolling content wall. Once again, pulls in all of your photos, videos, text, links from all of your services, breaks into all of your walled gardens to re-aggregate your content. Content on the front, metadata on the back, such as descriptions, commenting systems, etc. We're agnostic as far as that content. It could be Amazon links. In this case, you see affiliate links coming in, the same as photos, the same as videos, pulled into one aggregated shareable wall. An example of a video getting pulled in. So once again, we're collecting everything into one highly social, portable space. Now, this is shareable across Facebook, Twitter, Google+, through email as a embed link as well. So you can embed this in your blog, you can embed this in your website. And let's walk through making a wall. When you want to make a wall, you can make a public wall that anybody can see, anybody can add to simply by drag and drop. You can create a group wall that anybody can see but only invited members can add to, or you can create a private wall that's completely invisible, only invited members can add to it. Here's a wall. Simply grab your stuff off your desktop, throw it on the wall. Instantly uploaded in real time, part of the Pixt experience. If this is a shared wall, other people are going to see that content coming up in real time. But that's not the most interesting thing. The most interesting thing is that we're also tapping into your walled garden services. So if you look at the drawer down below, you have your Pixt drawer, you have your Flickr sets. So you connect to Flickr, and boom, all of my Flickr sets accessible to the wall. Drag from the Flickr sets up into your wall, instantly visible to people who are looking at that wall. More so, you can also drag into your Flickr sets. Content portability across Flickr, Facebook, Picasa, Instagram, YouTube, search. We're re-aggregating all of your disaggregated content so that you can actually do something useful with it. Where this gets really fun is, imagine you go to a party and you're taking some photos, but there's other people at the party that are taking photos of you that you want to share with. You can instantly create a wall, share that wall around. Everybody can drag and drop, add to that wall, creating a shared experience. Now, if I take a photo from the wall and drag it into my Facebook stream, very interestingly, it's now in my Facebook album. Let's jump over to Facebook for a second. And you can see that photo is right there. Boom, pasted to my stream in Facebook. You click through, it opens that image right in the Pixt application in Facebook. Pixt is an application on the web, on Facebook, on iPad. We're building a mobile application right now for content grabbing from your phone, pushed up to a Pixt wall. So like I said, it's embeddable everywhere. The embed code comes with full functionality. If I embed a Pixt wall into my blog, you can drag and drop from your desktop right into that blog and add to that Pixt wall. Embed it into my website, same deal. We've been using this with some brands like Diageo, like Dolby Labs, Facebook application I mentioned, and we're developing a mobile application right now. So who are we? We're a seasoned team of startup guys. I started at Interval Research down in Palo Alto, spun off a company that sold to Lego, started at Leapfrog early on, ran their design group, their advanced concept group, left when it was 1,200 people. My co-founder, Ron Sheridan, started Oversea.net. My other co-founder, Michael Leifer, started and runs Guerrilla PR, and we have a great group of advisors helping us along the way. We're 1 year into development on the technology platform. A team of 4 full-time people and 2 contractors. We're located in San Francisco and Marin. We have been focused on creating a kick-ass product for launch. That's really been our single-minded focus. Just create a great product, get it out there. We're going to give it away for free. Because of the way we're tapping into all of the services, our cost per user is actually quite low. We're not warehousing a lot of content ourselves. This creates a great opportunity for us with partners. So we're in conversations right now with several large partnership opportunities, and we have some very interesting ways of monetizing this platform. Thank you very much.
You. All right, so now we'd like to turn it over to our panel for 4 minutes of Q&A.
If Facebook's timeline allows you to log into your other services through the APIs, won't that just pull all the data into there and that will become the central location for all your information aggregated across the web?
Well, it's shared because we're tapping into the same API and the same metadata. So what's interesting is by aggregating metadata across the different services, we're actually, and this is a kind of further down the line road, but we're collecting metadata in a really different way because now your shared metadata across Facebook, Flickr, Picasa, all collected into one place. That says something very different about you than what's happening in your Facebook stream. As we're seeing more and more, people are a little wary of posting too much to their Facebook stream. And I should say, what our goal is to have your photos, your personal photos, things like your kid's birthday party. Those are the kind of closed photo experiences that we can create and aggregate from the different services that are very different than what you're going to find in a Facebook timeline.
So sort of following off of that,
Yeah.
Right now there's a number of companies launching sort of in the Dropbox for photo model that are also doing aggregation.
Yeah.
How do you think about competing with something like that when you're actually not offering the storage value proposition where you do?
So we don't actually think we're competing with them. We think we're a perfect partner for them. And we're in some discussions right now that have proved that out. What we're about is the experience, this physicalized, easy, intuitive way to have content portability. And if you've played around with Dropbox, social folders, etc., it's kind of a nightmare in that it's unclear exactly what you're doing. This really clarifies that interaction in a very like tabletop and drawer metaphor. Very much like you dumped your photos out and are sorting, saving, and sharing them in various places.
So I didn't see any advertising on the. Can you walk through the different revenue models briefly for?
Yeah. So one is to go from freemium to premium account. There's some interesting opportunities there as far as do you want to collect and store all of your photos in one place. So there's a revenue premium account opportunity there. There is ad insertion opportunities, but that's not really where we want to go. Where we want to go is to get massive adoption and start using this for things like events. So we've had some high-level conversations with big event companies around the idea of you're at a soccer match, for example, and people in the stands are taking pictures and posting them to one centralized content wall. That becomes a really great revenue opportunity for us around this premium brand experience where you're mixing kind of professional content and branded content with user-generated content all pulled together instantly into one community experience. An example of that might be a Red Bull wall, right? Where Red Bull posts some branded images but opens it up to their mountain biking community. They just drag and drop add email upload to this wall, and it creates a connection with the brand in a really new and powerful way.
Okay, do we have time for one more question? Okay, one more quick question and answer. Anyone? Or are you all good?
So why do you think that this might become viral?
Because there's really nothing like it. It's like Surface Table for your laptop. It's a hands-on experience.
Are you familiar with MemoLane?
I am, and MemoLane is a very grid-based.
It's a timeline-based service.
It's a timeline grid-based service. It's lovely in its own way, but it's not hands-on interactive. It's not delightful, at least to my mind, in the way that Pixt is.
Yeah, their challenge has been inability to get viral. People who use it love it if you look at the comments about it, but they just haven't gotten viral. And my biggest concern for you is, well, it's always business model, but
yeah.
In terms of if people like it, but do you get the engagement? Do you get people pushing it out to other people? And that's hit or miss.
One of the things that I learned at Leapfrog is you basically have 5 seconds when somebody touches something to make that first impression. That's difficult to do if you're walking them through a laborious sign-in process to connect to all of your accounts. This doesn't do that. It's physical. Thank you.
Thank you, Chris. Chris warned me that we were going to have to cut him off, so he was right. And next, I'd like to introduce Olivier from Rock Solutions, who warned me to avoid pronouncing his last name. So welcome, Olivier.
You hear me?
Keep talking.
Yeah. Hello. I'm Olivier Borouille, so don't try to pronounce it if you're American. I'm the CIO of Rock Solutions. Our purpose today is every company purpose. It uses pain, time, and money to do it. It's complex. Our purpose. Do I have the
Clicker. There it is.
Okay. Excuse me. Our purpose is how to make a company be more competitive, and there's only two ways to make it. It's to be more competitive, to organize, to optimize your organization, or to innovate. There's a third way, mainly in the States, is to buy your competitors. Usually, there are many tools who are trying to help your organization to be more performant. There will be BPA, BPM, risk and compliance, business activity monitoring, or some collaborative solution. But it's broken. This kind of model doesn't work. And it doesn't work because mainly it's too complex to understand. It's not scalable. It's they are disconnected the one with the other, and they are used by very few in the company. So Rock Solution is an integrated solution, which enables you to modelize the organization. But when you've done it, if you want to execute the model, you can do it. There's a workflow linked to it. When you modelize the organization, you can also identify the risk linked to the organization. That might be interesting. You can measure the performance of it, and above all, you can share the information with all the people in the company through a collaborative platform. Now, in one solution, Rock will bridge departments together. And if Ted, you can launch the first video, please. You're going to see a Rock interface. It's through a cube. You can go from the group to the company to the site position or role and the workers. And on the front side, you can come from process management, risk management, human resource management, IT, or data management. And for each system, you have cartography, tools, KPI, communication tools, and you can access to the data model. Now, if you can launch the second video, I will give you an example of use. Just imagine you're going to change a software. It will be nice for you to know what will be the impact of on your processes. Here, you just identify the 8 processes which will be touched by the change of this software. But also, in the organization, you have identified some risk. And it might be nice also to identify what it means changing the software in terms of risk. So you go on the risk cartography, and you will choose the software, and you will see the risk that might be changed if you change your software. Now you're going to have to manage the change, and you would like to identify between all your employees which one will be touched by this change. So you have here the organigram. You see the few people who are touched with it. You can you can identify the workers, the process that will be touched, and you can directly, through the interface, send them a mail. So they create the list of the people touched by this change, a chat, have a video conference, call if you need to. Now you can close the video, please. Thank you. So, is it easy to implement? Yes, it is. Our first client is World Freight Company. It's an airplane company. It's about 1.2 billion turnover. We met them on Thursday. We made the deal on Friday, and the next Tuesday, 80 countries were linked on our solution. It's a cloud solution. 2 months later, the main processes and KPIs were available on the solution. Is it now easy to use? I will give you a sample of one of our clients also, which is Decathlon. Decathlon is a little like Foot Locker in the US. So it's about 18 countries. It's 6.5 billion turnover. It's about 45 employees. The purpose was to manage the accounting closing. We trained 3 people within 3 days, and we let them alone. After 2 months, they had all their accounting processes on ROC, and they were able to manage through ROCs the worthwhile monthly accounting closing. The next step will probably be to share it with all the people in the company. So we probably have 45,000 users. Thank you for listening to me. If you want to join me, no problem. Olivier Bourou at rocksolution.com. Thank you.
Okay, now, questions from our panelists.
Sure. Can you just clarify, do you integrate with the existing solutions that these companies have, or do you replace them? And you sort of alluded to these quick install times, but it seems like a very service-heavy, very complicated thing. What's the actual installation process like in terms of signing the check to having something up and running?
In fact, for speaking about Decathlon, they already had business process architecture tools, and we just push it in the dash. So we change it, and we use now a ROC solution. Now, in order to implement it within 1 week, we can integrate in the solution through Excel model all the employees and create the intranet just like that on the cloud. After, if you want to draw the processes, we are able to take every document already existing in the company and push it to ROC within a quarter or half an hour, which means you have hundreds of processing already exist, make 100 time half an hour. Did I answer to your question?
Yeah.
About the sales cycle, it seems a little short to me, but just wondering if you could talk a little bit about who the actual buyer within the organization is versus who's the end user.
Are we sell the product? Your question was?
Is the buyer within the organization actually the end user, or who actually selling to within the organization, but who has the buying decision?
Who sells in my company to the others?
No. Within the corporate customers that you're working with,
yeah.
Who's the actual decision maker that owns the decision?
Usually it's a financial director or the board.
And is that the same group that's actually the user where this has to get integrated, or what's the onboarding as you kind of think about scale within an organization?
I'm not sure I understand you. You speak too quickly.
Sorry,
I'm sorry.
She speaks too quickly.
I speak too quickly, and I work for a Frenchman.
In French, you can?
No, but I work with a Frenchman, so.
Okay. Usually, when I met a client, a future client, the people I like to meet was a financial director, accounting director, because they understand everything about process, so understand pretty well the organization. What they want is to have some KPI and to optimize the accounting or the closing or the fast closing process. So there's really, and generally they have already wrote the process somewhere on any tools. So they are really involved in having the product and share it with all the accountant or all the department manager. So these are often our interlocutor in the company. And speaking about Worldwide Company, the Thursday I've met them, there were 3 people, and we had all the board at the end of the Thursday, and we made the deal the next day.
How much is the contract from Decathlon worth for you? How much are they paying you?
How much paying?
How much are they paying you?
It's on a SaaS model. So for the accounting part is about 8,000 a month, and when they will deploy it on the whole company, it will be about 40,000 euro monthly. So a deal is between 5 to we are making a deal which is about 90,000 euro monthly with 300,000 people users.
Thank you.
Okay. All right.
Thank you.
Olivier. Now I'd like to invite Ferdy Roberts up. He's the CEO of SaaS Markets, which launches SaaS app stores for corporate clients. Take it away.
Yep. Thank you very much. So Ferdy Roberts, I'm the CEO and founder of SaaS Markets. And today I'd like to take you through 2 of our core offerings. First of all, Market Maker, which is essentially a platform or an app store for SaaS companies to bring their product to market. And then complementing that, the SaaS Commerce Network, which we'll share some slides and some insights on in a moment. First of all, Market Maker, not a particularly new concept, the concept of an app store. Our take on this is that it's very difficult for SaaS companies today to get their product to market because the cost of marketing the product in the first instance, getting it out to the end users, is prohibitively expensive. At a personal level, I was running a company, a consulting business, 3 years ago called New Wave Consulting. We had operations in Europe and the US. And I had a small group of associate consultants that I wanted to share information with, and I wanted to be able to access that information remotely at client sites, etc. So I looked at potential solutions, collaboration solutions, and wiki-based solutions, etc. It was very difficult for me to find SaaS applications at that time that I could use. So I started to develop the concept of SaaS markets at that point in time. A year ago, we secured some seed funding to go and develop the product, which is Market Maker. Along the left-hand side here, you see this is targeted at small to medium-sized businesses. This is just one of our direct-to-market stores called appmerica, so appmerica.com. You can see it, it's live today. AppClick, which is our international brand, now is deployed across 23 different countries. We'll take a look at that. That forms part of what we call the SaaS Commerce Network. But the store itself, along the left-hand side, these are essentially the business functions. So we've organized 1,300 SaaS applications that we partner with today by business function. We've also organized them by industry. So if I'm a small business in hospitality and travel, I can go and look at solutions for that. Or if I'm a finance person and I need to look at financial or accounting or invoicing solutions, I can quickly and easily look at the high-level category and I'll see the subcategory beneath that. So an example might be, in this instance, administration and office tools. You can see a series of subcategories here, everything from appointment scheduling through room booking tools, staff scheduling, web conferencing, etc. It's an intuitive interface. You can simply click on an application of choice, view a summary of the application, look at support contacts, pricing, etc., view screenshots and demos. So we take that content into our environment. We're not bouncing people from one site to the next. We're creating an industrial strength, corporate grade experience for the user, so they can view screenshots and get an idea of what this application looks like, what the costs are, etc. If they decide that they want to purchase, or in this instance take a free trial, if the company offers a free trial, you'll see a free trial option appear on the top right. Equally, if we look at the tabs across the top here, we provide support tools to the small business who may not be familiar with SaaS. In this instance, we're not really promoting SaaS as a concept, we're promoting business tools. So if I'm in the security section here, if I click on Demo Center, I can quickly browse by introductory video for those companies, so we're aggregating the content from our suppliers. The App University is designed to take third-party content into our environment. So, for example, Semantic do a great series called The Guide to Scary Internet Stuff. It's a series of videos, maybe 12 to 15 videos. In this case, botnets. They do drive-by downloads, phishing. What does that mean? So for the small business person, a quick introduction to why security is important for the small business. And then resources, any non-video content, PDFs, PowerPoints, etc., we bring into our resource tab. Here's an example of it deployed. So that's one of our direct-to-market stores, appmerica.com. Here's an example of a store that will launch at the end of June. So HSBC have very kindly given us the opportunity to give you a preview of the site here. They are launching this with us for their small business customers. If you see the customer center, the third option on the right-hand side, this is it integrated in their store. They're inviting their customers, some 2 million small business customers that they have, inviting them to come and view the range of solutions that can help them improve productivity and efficiency in their business. So becoming more of a trusted advisor, which is certainly an issue that many banks face as a challenge right now. Here's another example at the other end of the scale. A small regional bank in Iowa called Guarantee Bank have taken it, 8,000 small business customers. They've taken our app store, deployed it. What's attractive to them about this is not necessarily the store itself, but it's the fact that they can interact with their customers on a regular basis. I'm running out of time, so I'm going to quickly take you through. Here's a couple of additional examples. I'm just going to quickly go to I'm going to avoid the technology for a moment. We do offer pretty significant automated marketing capabilities with the store, which I'll be happy to talk to you about if you have time after the presentation. I want to talk quickly about the SaaS Commerce Network. Each one of our stores, currently 32 stores in 23 different countries. To begin with, we're starting with the ability to deliver these stores on a branded or direct-to-market basis. So if I'm a SaaS app developer, I can list once and make my app available in those 23 stores, or 23 countries immediately, or I can choose by country. We're looking to add payment processing and hosting services. So the intent is to support the SaaS developers to give them an instant route to market and a platform that they can concentrate on developing great apps, and we can concentrate on delivering an environment that allows them to get their product to market.
Well done.
Sorry.
That's all right.
Ran out of time.
So you're using banks who already have a lot of SMB customers as a channel to get you guys customers?
Yeah.
Sorry, you guys are using banks to get you SMB customers. What is the rev share back to the banks on the
typically,
sales?
Depending on their negotiating, I mean, for example, with our first financial services customers, the average across the three is about 20%. So we get 80%, they get 20%.
And how much does the app developer get of your 80?
The app developer, so we're typically, the average would be we get 40% of the first month, and somewhere between 10 and 15% of the recurring for subscription-based apps.
Okay.
Can you talk a little bit about the how you're onboarding actual apps and discovering new apps? Are you pre-populating all these categories?
So it's certainly, to begin with, we certainly did. As we reached out to application developers, they could see what that looked like. We do have a self-service capability through saasmarkets.com. So on the top right, you can go and list your app. There's a three-stage process where we look at the original app when people make a submission. If we like the app, it's appropriate for SMEs. We take them through various gates, quality assessment gates. They're invited to complete their full profile, so we take their video embed codes, their links, etc. And then we go through our own QA process where we're looking at, do they have secure checkouts, where are they, how many customers have they got, etc., so that it's sufficiently robust. So to date, we've evaluated 6,500 of those. We've chosen 1,300, so we have an 80+% rejection rate, which we're actually quite proud of. I think the quality of the apps are what essential to what's going to sustain us as a business.
So it sounds like you're doing a lot of different things all centered around the App Store all at once, and it's sort of impressive that you're doing that with such a small team, yet at the same time I worry that it could be pulling you in too many different directions. But could you just talk for a minute about the competitors you see in the space and what you really see as your sustainable barrier to entry going forward?
Yeah, so there's a couple of models. I mean, there are basic App Store marketplaces like GetApp, App Direct, which is kind of a hosted, so they'll take an app, host it, provide the payment processing, etc. They've got a couple of hundred apps right now. I think for us, the approach that we're taking, which is to get scale on the apps, what we're seeing when we engage with companies like HSBC is they want to have a layer of abstraction between the app companies and themselves. They're happy to provide the recommendations or the insight into what apps are available, but they don't want their customers thinking, I'm buying the app from HSBC. So we've done quite well, I think, in terms of working with our application partners, getting them on board. I think the process to actually get them on board, hosted, provide payment processing services, we wouldn't grow quickly enough to get the kind of scale that we're talking about now. 1,300 apps in 23 different countries right now with 32 app stores.
So I think we have time for one more Q&A. No?
So I'll follow up. In terms of discoverability, which is clearly one of the challenges that a lot of these SMBs have, how are you actually helping surface the right app for the right user beyond just search?
Yeah, so one of the great things about our approach, which is a differentiator, in fact, just in response to your previous question, Jake, but also Stephanie, what differentiates us is we are proactive in terms of engaging with our target market. So the 2 million small businesses through HSBC, the 14,000 through Veracity Payments, the 8,000 through Guarantee Bank, We are, on a bi-weekly basis, much like the Apple App Store is reaching out and saying, hey, check out what's new in the store, we're reaching out to you with the insight that we know you're in hospitality and travel, we know you're in retail, and we're inviting you to come and check out the new apps or the new content, the new resources that we have available in the store. And that's part of the reason that these companies like us is we're giving them a reason to reach out and constantly bring their customers back into an environment where they can deliver their own messages and their own promotional, advertising and indeed content that is custom to the bank.
Great.
Great, thank you.
All right, thank you. Thanks, Bertie. And next, I'd like to welcome up Sean Spector, who's the Chief Platform Officer of SharingForce, which is a web app that converts digital referrals to new customers. 6 minutes.
Thank you. Okay, where are we? So first of all, hopefully everyone can hear me. My name is Sean Spector. Thank you for the introduction. Chief Platform Officer at SharingForce. I'm here with my partner sitting in the front row right here, Kyle Murdoch. We're here to present SharingForce, which is basically a share widget on steroids. And what we're doing is we are powering the digital word-of-mouth revolution. So what I'd like to start with is, first of all, talking about what problem exists in the marketplace right now and how we're going to solve this. Social right now is a very tough place to be in, especially for SMBs. They hear keywords like engagement, like audience, like acquisition, and no one truly understands, especially if you're an SMB, how to leverage social media properly to increase ROI for your business. Right now, what you're seeing is that there's over 300 different social media platforms, different bookmarking sites. There are 60 billion pieces of content being shared every single month. Now, the issue with that is not that things aren't being shared, it's that SMBs get lost in the mix. How do we get shared more? News is being shared, human interest pieces are being shared, videos are being shared, and funny pieces of content are being shared. Unfortunately, SMBs aren't being shared as much as they want to be. And the question, obviously, that they're asking is, what is social media for us? And if you've ever worked with an SMB, this is what you're going to hear. Word of mouth has always worked better than any other type of marketing I will ever do. Excuse me. Well, this is what social media does for SMBs, and this is what we've discovered. It's turned regular word of mouth marketing into what we call digital word of mouth. And if you're able to finally leverage your customer base and get them to promote you to their social networks, you're not only going to be able to gain more customers, but with our system, we'll be able to convert those customers very, very easily. And what we do is very simple. We give a tool to the SMB, a share widget. They, in turn, offer some sort of reward to their customers for promoting them to their social networks. And then you could offer another reward once they come into your website, converting them into a new customer. So it all starts with the sharing widget. You've seen 1,000 of them out there. There's about 15 million sites right now using some sort of generic type of sharing widget that gives your users access to all of the different social networks that are online right now. We offer multiple different styles, the same as anyone else that's out there, with a little pop-up when you scroll over it that allows you to see what kind of content is being shared. That's the basic system, our freemium service right there. Now, what you're able to attach onto that is a simple reward for sharing. What ends up happening is once that reward is attached, what you see is a slide-out panel on that pop-up with the type of offer that's being given for sharing. This is actually a test campaign that we ran back in the fall with Victoria Duffield, who's an artist with Warner Music up in Canada, which is where we are from. The last piece of the puzzle is rewarding for incoming traffic, or referred traffic in this case. What happens is once someone clicks on your shared link, you posted it on Facebook, one of your friends click on it, they come to the site, little pop-up appears basically saying that congratulations, you're eligible for some type of free gift. If you're able to actually click on it, claim the reward, that automatically lets you redeem it and become a new customer or a new fan for them. Claiming a delivery is actually very, very simple. Once you've claimed it, you accept terms and conditions, you sign in, you actually get a little pop-up that says, thank you for sharing. Immediately, you get an email with what we call a Sharecertificate, very similar to a daily deal coupon. It gives you all the terms and conditions, the details of the reward. If it's going to be redeemed online, then the business also has the opportunity of uploading a special coupon code that they could enter in their e-commerce store. Lastly but not least, it's a full self-manageable back end. For most small businesses, they want something simple, easy, that they could get up and running in under 10 minutes. That's what our system does. Full reporting and analytics. As you could see, it's their business. If they want to upload some sort of logo or image, they can enter a description. If they have any locations, it all gets pulled onto their certificate, their website, how many widgets are associated with that business, any rewards that are associated with the business, and if there's any live campaigns running. Pricing is very simple. Like I said before, we have a freemium service. Like most share widgets out there, you have multiple styles, you get full analytics and reporting with us, and you also get a full self-manageable dashboard. From there, at any time, once that code is on your website, you're able to add on a reward and initiate a campaign, which actually brings you to a premium service. And all you have to do is basically go back into the back end, put together your reward campaign, you gain access to the certificate redemption system, and you get limited API calls if you so desire them and if you need them, all for $49 a month. We do have an enterprise solution also, a couple of different solutions. We can do custom integration. We can do custom reward types. If you have an existing loyalty program that you want to reward with, you're able to do that also. That's all in the enterprise solution, and obviously dedicated support with that also. Now here's where the opportunity gets exciting for us. Right now, like I said, there are 15 million sites using some sort of sharing platform. If in the next 5 years we could cap 10% of that market, that's looking at 1.5 million sharing force widgets out there on the internet, and 10% of that is 150,000 businesses rewarding their users for sharing. What that looks like in a nice little graph is something like this. Paying customers are obviously the red, the full amount of widgets is in the blue. As far as revenue goes, it looks like this. So in summary, very quickly, what the system allows you to do is leverage your customer social networks through digital word of mouth, reward your customers for sharing, convert social referrals into new customers, all through an easy-to-install widget called Sharing Force.
Awesome. Thank you. We'll turn over to the panel for Q&A.
I mean, I think it's an obvious and wonderful idea. I just worry about the competitive space. You know, very direct competitors like Curabit or 500 Friends that are funded companies, indirect competitors like Swalo, Reputation, Main Street Hub, Zuberance, companies like Share This, which I think already has all the adoption that you have in your blue 4 or 5 years out. And if they simply add this feature in, I just worry that there's so many, I mean, there's 150 funded companies in digital marketing, and some of them are direct and some of them are tangential. I just don't, how are you going to get above the noise?
It's, well, thank you for the question, because we get a lot of questions like this on a regular basis. And the way that we look at the space is our main competitors right now, and we talk about those 15 million sites that are using some sort of share widget, is the Share This and the Add This of the world. There's a couple of other small players, but the 15 million sites are those two. Right now, that the way that they have monetized their solution is through data collection. They're selling advertising now. They're selling that data to corporations. That's how they're making money. To go into a full rewarding system the way that we have would mean a total restructuring of what their business model is. We're not talking about a huge penetration into the market they have. We're talking about 10% in 5 years right now. And right now, I think they're so far ahead that by the time we get to that 10%, we're going to be entrenched in the market enough that it won't make that much of a difference for them. For the other ones, the Curabits of the world, PunchTab is another one, some of the other loyalty programs, we fall a little outside of that realm. One, because this is an easy-to-use system that you're up and running in 10 minutes. Theirs takes a little bit longer to integrate. At the same time, ours really is the first to put together that full cyclical system where you literally take your customers, get them to promote you, reward them, and then from there convert their friends and their family into new customers and start that cycle all over again. And that's where our advantage lies as far as the system goes.
So not all shares are created equal, and if you're an SMB, you want to target obviously the most powerful share, and especially if you're focused on local, which I'm actually, that would be a second follow-up question is, are you talking local SMBs or just broad SMB? It's a pretty broad category, so it'd be helpful to kind of really know who you're talking about there. But how do you think about actually helping these SMBs target the right people with the right offer, as opposed to just this blanket offer and paying for a share that falls on deaf ears?
Well, that's one of the reasons why, one, we went with a $49 a month package, which gives you obviously unlimited amount of rewards that you're able to offer. So it allows you to change it multiple times and really test what works. Besides that,
are you helping with them with that, or are you providing suggestions?
Our enterprise clients, yes, we are guiding them along. Part of the business model for us is actually getting resellers on board and getting them to add this into their suite of solutions for their SMB clients. So a lot of the times it will be up to the digital agency or whoever else to kind of push this through their pipeline and consult on those things. Obviously, in our test market that we went through in the fall, we were doing all of that consulting and really helping target the right type of campaigns to the right type of customers for them. At the same time, most SMBs know their audience, and this is not bringing them new customers off the bat. It's leveraging their customer base now to get new customers. So they know their customers, they know what they're going to want. So it's a little easier for them to navigate the space.
Quick question, Jake.
So you touched on it just a little bit, but in terms of getting this distribution out to the 10%, you mentioned referrers. Is there anything else you can leverage that will help you get that scale that quickly where you're not marketing one-on-one to the SMBs? And have you found that some of these companies you're working with already have entrenched players and in terms of negotiating reseller contracts, or do you see that as being wide open in terms of reaching those?
Right now, the people that we've talked to, it is pretty much wide open. It depends on what type of reseller you're looking at. And there are some resellers that are strictly web consultants or ones that webmasters that will take any generic type of share platform, throw it on. The ones that we're targeting are the marketing agencies, are the media companies that are really looking for a new digital type of marketing solution for their clients. And with two lines of code to actually install this widget, it's a very quick switch. And we actually call it Switch the Widget campaign, to be able to upsell them at any time and start running campaigns at $49 a month.
All right, great. Thank you.
Thank you.
And our fifth company is Social IQ, and Devin Redmond is the CEO, and he'll be talking to you about it for 6 minutes exactly.
Is my microphone on? We good? Can everybody hear me? Thank you very much for joining me. I have the dubious honor of being last in the session, so I hope you guys aren't completely overwhelmed with data and information, and you can spare a little bit of attention for me while I kind of jump right into the Shark Tank here. So Social IQ Networks is the next evolution in what we see in social environments for enterprises. Really the growing reality that social is infrastructure. So if you look out there in the news today, if you look at the mass of vendors that are available for organizations for marketing, for placement, for sharing, you can see that this is becoming a new communication and collaboration infrastructure. You can look to the acquisitions by marketing platforms, Salesforce automation platforms, CRM systems, in acquiring marketing platforms for these environments to understand that this is becoming that new dynamic collaboration and communication infrastructure. The challenge that we see with most enterprises is the reality that this spans across multiple social network platforms. This spans across multiple social media marketing systems and tools and other applications in those environments. So if you get into a typical environment, you're talking an enterprise that's got 200 enterprise accounts or brand-run accounts across different social networks. So this is Google+, YouTube, Facebook, Twitter, more recently Pinterest, and other types of environments, all being run on behalf of the brand. Each of those accounts typically has a root administrator access of about 5 different people with access to that account. Not just access to the marketing tool that they may be using on it, because in fact they probably have multiple marketing tools and applications on that. Right? They may be using sharing, they may be using a promotion builder, they may be using a publishing system, they may be using a link shortener. All of those things have access to it. So now we've got 200 accounts, 5 administrators per account, 3 applications on average accessing that account, and you actually don't realize that most of these environments don't have visibility into the total infrastructure or footprint that they have. They don't know how many accounts that are out there. They don't know how many admins are on those accounts. They typically don't understand how many applications they're actually using in those environments. Then you add the fact that they're increasing their investments, right? So they're adding new applications, they're adding new investments in new platforms. Pinterest wasn't around 2 years ago. Now everybody's talking about how that is potentially a better conversion opportunity for businesses for selling on the social web. So you see this continuing to unfold in their environments, and what they're trying to do is engage audiences, right? The term engagement comes around a lot, but it's basically creating more dialogue, more people paying attention to them on those pages. So you add all of those things up, and what you start to run into, like we've seen in other areas of infrastructure for enterprises out there, traditional web, email, all of these other systems, is you run into the inability to kind of decrease or increase your effectiveness. You run into increased costs. You run into accidents, abuse, mistakes, and that. And even more importantly, as you grow over time and you create more and more eyeballs in that environment, you increase the opportunity for people to actually maliciously target you, exploit that audience, and damage what you have actually invested so heavily in. And this is not just something that we see in our enterprise clients. You're starting to see these headlines emerge more and more as brands invest in the social web, as they treat it as infrastructure, right? Multiple accounts, spammers moving from traditional mechanisms of exploit over the web and email into the social web, accounts being exposed and account credentials being exposed in these environments, the repair costs of damage to the brands when these things happen, increasing dramatically. So all of these things are in evidence, and they're actually occurring more and more frequently because this is becoming a primary infrastructure area for most organizations. So Social IQ Networks, what we do is actually address these challenges by helping organizations find the accounts they have, so discover them, be able to understand and track that surface area or a footprint of accounts, and track them and look for new ones as they emerge, be able to audit them to see what type of content is actually on those accounts and what applications are being used, from risk to other types of content that may be used in that environment. We allow them to protect access across a broad array of different social accounts, irrespective of what marketing applications they use, and we can actually create whitelists for a brand to say if they've invested heavily in Buddy Media or Hootsuite, or they decided to use a new vendor like Gremlin, which presented here today as well. We allow them to create a whitelist to enforce the application usage of apps that are approved by them, that they've invested in, that they trust to operate in their environment. And then above and beyond that, we can actually control the content that occurs on those pages. So the conversations, whether it's preventing accidents or mistakes by somebody publishing on behalf of the brand, or even more importantly, dealing with the rise in audience-on-audience abuse, right? Unlike traditional mechanisms in the web where it's a one-way broadcast, now you're actually creating dialogues. And one of the challenges for a lot of these organizations is to be able to prevent one audience from chasing away another audience, right? You don't want to alienate the key demographic that you've attracted and spend all this money and infrastructure to get onto your page because somebody else comes on and uses derogatory speech, defames them, you name it, drives them away. So really what our solution does is it creates cohesiveness, which ultimately enables effectiveness. It drives efficiency, which ultimately reduces costs. It allows you to protect the investment that you've made in other applications and other environments that you have out there. And it protects the brand itself as well as the audience of the brand, the people that are interacting on those pages. So these are all the solutions that we have in place. Our current customers, we released our product in late March. We already have household names as enterprise clients, everybody from Intel and Rosetta Stone, all the way to other types of organizations, including security companies like Imperva that use us to protect their presence on the social web. We also have leveraged partnerships both with media agencies, social media agencies, as well as social media marketing systems. And we actually have partnerships with folks like KPMG. In terms of the team, experienced group from security companies and software companies, SaaS companies out there. And it's an enterprise subscription solution, so a cloud-based solution.
Thank you.
Thank you very much.
All right, let's open it up to 4 minutes of questions, please.
I'll start.
Go for it.
Any paying customers today?
Yes.
Can
10
you
paying
give us
customers?
an idea of what they're paying and what those contracts
Sure,
look like?
sure. So typically it's an annual subscription. We've got 3 modules of the system itself. Annual subscription starts at about $20,000 per customer for the auditing modules. As they enable the security and governance, it's $4,500 per year per account. So typically our starting value for a customer in the first 6 months is about $35,000 to $40,000. Over the lifetime value, a 3-year subscription, that's about $150,000.
How are you selling it?
So low touch, direct inside sales, leverage partnerships through digital media agencies. We have consulting partnerships with people who do risk and auditing assessments, and we have sell-through partners in the social media marketing space. So companies like Wildfire, SynCaps, Buddy Media.
Just out of curiosity, like, have you found that your customers are already putting spending towards this, or is this a new spending area for them, and what's been the hurdle there?
So we typically have two demographics that we sell to in an environment, IT and risk and InfoSec, and the social media team. And not unlike the web in the mid-90s where there was a person called the webmaster, and now there's multiple groups inside of an organization, we're seeing the same thing where social media marketing teams are starting to bifurcate and trifurcate, and there are people responsible for social governance in that group. So those are typically the two audience, InfoSec and social governance inside social marketing. And it's either new social budget that it's coming out of or traditional risk where they're worried about social issues for the brand.
Thank you.
Great. No other questions?
All right. No
Fantastic.
more questions?
Right.
Oh, we
Thank
were
you.
going fast. All right.
Yeah.
Thank you. All right. So thank you all for your attention during the presentations. Please mark your ballots with your most likely to succeed company. I believe we will have volunteers picking up the ballots at the end of the rows. And the next thing is a 15-minute networking break. At 3:45, we'll be back in here for I think, the final panel.